Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our fourth version of Borrow.Read.Repeat Live. We are so excited to be here with you again today. We cannot believe it's November. We cannot believe that it's about to be the holiday season. Even in the midst of this crazy, crazy year, the holidays are still upon us. So we are really happy to talk to you today about books that we're gifting, or secretly books that we're hoping somebody gives us as gifts. So we thought this would be a fun topic, and we wanted to just welcome you all for, again, thanks for joining us. Quickly, we are wondering, start thinking about what book was the best book you ever either gave or received as a present to somebody. And when I think about gifts I've gotten over the years of my life or given to people, the ones that I've given or received that have meant the most have been a book in a lot of ways. I mean, my father passed away a while ago, but we used to give each other books for Christmas, and I still have the ones that I gave him, and I have the ones that he gave me, and you can build on that for the rest of your life. So I think books are a great gift, and we hope that we can help you start some of your Christmas shopping or your holiday shopping today. Jen and Elizabeth, do you guys have any special memories of gift giving with books in the holidays?
I have, it's not particularly the holidays, but I remember from my sister's wedding, I gave her a copy of The Velveteen Rabbit. And she still talks about that. I mean, that was like, 20 years ago, and she still has it and talks about like how special it was. So totally agree with you.
That's nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in my books too. And one of the books that, my dad gave us was The Polar Express when we were young. And so 2 Christmases ago, my sister gave it to my kids with an inscription inside. So it's becoming a really, really nice holiday tradition to pass that down from generation to generation, which is great. And on a lighter note, this year, I think I might be giving like the home edit, because I feel like everyone needs to organize their space, including me. And I don't want to get rid of stuff, but I need to figure out where to put it. So I think that's what a lot of people will be getting from me this Christmas.
That's a good gift. Sorry, I should back up and introduce ourselves. I'm sorry, I'm Kelly Coyle-Crivelli from Penguin Random House Library Marketing. Take one more second and introduce yourselves, guys.
I'm Jen Childs.
And I'm Elizabeth Fabian, coming from very cold Connecticut today.
Well, yes. I'm in warm Florida. Sorry.
Yeah, so if you guys can tell that we're a little mean to Jen today, it's because she's warm and we're freezing. So we're going to be mean to her during this this recording. I'm just kidding. So again, thank you for joining us. We love talking about books every time of the year, but like I said, we like talking about books the most during the holidays because they are so important to us all. And just a quick note, we have a fun little interactive game we're going to be playing with you guys during this. So if you happen to have your phones available, you don't need it yet, but you'll need it during the course of the program. So if you can just grab your cell phone so you can join in with a little bit of we have a couple of survey questions that we're going to ask you today just for fun. So if you can get your phones ready, that would be great. As a reminder, we have a format key on every slide, so you can see what formats the books are available in, because we know that people read or listen in different formats all the time. So we just want you to know when you go to buy a book for somebody or for yourself, or look for it at the library, these are the formats that they are available in. And as always, we'd love for you to follow along on our hashtag BRR Live, and let us know your favorite book that you've given or received during your life. We think it's fun to keep track of that. My favorite book, weirdly, the one that I keep thinking about, is my maid of honor, or one of my bridesmaids in my wedding, gave me the Absolute vodka. I know that's so random, but she gave me this art book of Absolute, where it showed like the Absolute.
Oh, I remember that book.
And I loved that book. And she wrote the most beautiful inscription, which is probably why I still remember that. But okay, so on to some more information for you.
All right.
Yeah, we have a blog and our newsletter. So at Borrow, Read, Repeat, you can follow along. We have different topics all the time. We put little collections together for you. So if you're in the mood for a mystery, or if you're in the mood for a debut book, or if you're in the mood for a great new cookbook, we have these collections for you and these blog posts for you all the time. So follow us on Borrow.Read.Repeat.com. And if you don't already get our newsletter, sign up for a newsletter because they're fun. We have giveaways all the time. And we give you a little bit of the inside scoop. So you can sign up for our newsletter. And if you have a friend that's a reader and they're not signed up, there you go. There's a nice little holiday gift for them right there.
So we'll launch right into the books that we're recommending this holiday season. And I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a year like no other. And I think there's not a person out there who couldn't do with a little dose of inspiration. So we've selected a few of the books that are our favorites that are sure to inspire people to get involved, to get creative, to take care of themselves and to take care of other people too. And starting it off is a book that just hit shelves yesterday, A Promised Land, the first volume in President Barack Obama's memoirs. It's highly anticipated, and in it he tells the story of his odyssey from finding his identity as a youth to becoming of the free world. He takes readers inside the Oval Office, inside the Situation Room, and he's really honest about how living in the White House affected both he and his wife and his children. And if you haven't had a chance to get your hands on it yet and you just can't wait, there is an excerpt in the New Yorker. There is a clip from the audiobook and read by Obama himself that's featured on the Atlantic, and there's even a Spotify list for the book. So if you want to read along and sing along. And I'll just conclude with Obama's own words, because who can say it better than him, that one of his hopes for this book is to give young people inspiration and to remind people that democracy is not something that's separate from us, but is something that belongs to us. So I think it's going to be a hot book for many, many people out there this holiday season. And then moving on to another inspiring person, Glennon Doyle and Untamed. This is for the women in your life who are searching for their voices, or just women who want to know that they're not alone. Glennon Doyle, if you're not familiar with her, is an activist. She's a speaker. She's a best-selling author. And this book, Untamed, is her most revealing and powerful memoir yet. She talks about finding peace and joy and how we do that when we stop trying to strive to meet other people's expectations and we live and listen to the voice deep within ourselves. She did this herself. She said for many years she was discontented. And then when she was speaking at a conference one day, she looked across the room and she saw a woman and she just fell instantly in love. And that was the moment that it changed for her. She decided to quit being good so that she could be free, and she stopped pleasing people so she could start living. She's soulful, she's funny, forceful and tender. She speaks honestly about everything from being a mom to divorce to creating this new blended family. And she says in her own words, the braver you are, the luckier you get. So for all the women who want to be brave.
Next up is from Hoda, who needs no introduction, but this book is, this just speaks to me. This is Words to Live By Every Day, and this is for who does not need this book, but it's for your fans of Maria Shriver, Barbara Pierce Bush, Kathleen Gifford, and it was an instant New York Times bestseller, and it's an all-new collection of beloved quotes from Hoda, and it gives wisdom and hope for 365 days a year. When her first collection of quotes, I Really Needed This Today, was published in 2019, Hoda never imagined how her words and her stories and memories would resonate with readers. So she was so touched by all the stories that and sharing that the readers did with her for her first book, that it inspired her to write another book. And so she's back with 365 new quotes and stories to share with her beloved readers. And she writes about the people and the moments that have enriched her life, discussing everything from motherhood and friendship to love and loss. It celebrates the countless acts of kindness that unfolded during these uniquely challenging times. Uniquely challenging times, and it's told with the same warmth, humor, and generosity that was infused into I Really Needed This Today. So we think this is a wonderful book to give to anybody that's looking for, like Elizabeth said, a little bit of extra inspiration this year, which is probably just about everybody on your list, let's face it.
And if you're looking for the perfect inspirational gift for the food lover, we have it here with people who love to eat are always the best people, from beloved chef Julia Child, who taught America how to cook and to eat. She's no relation, by the way. She no S on the end of her last name. This delightful gem of a book features her words of wisdom on love, life, and of course, food. Peppered throughout with charming illustrations, a dash of wit, and a sprinkle of whimsy, this small package offers up inspiring quotes such as, "Everything can have drama if it's done right, even a pancake." Without peanuts, it just is a cocktail party. And my personal favorite, the only time to eat diet food is while you're waiting for the steak to cook.
I love that.
I love the Queen of Butter.
And next up, here at Borrow.Read.Repeat, we want to take the mystery out of what to give your readers who like to read on the edge of their seats. We've got some great selections for your mystery and thriller writers.
And I can think of no better book to begin with than the highly anticipated sequel to the worldwide bestseller Ready Player One, and this is Ernie Klein's Ready Player Two. This is for all of the fans, obviously, of the first book, and also for fans of the blockbuster Steven Spielberg film that was inspired by the book. It's also for people who gobble up 80s nostalgia, and for anyone looking for a book that's fun and imaginative and action-packed. So Ready Player Two picks up with Wade Watts, the main character, right where the first book left off. It gives readers a new adventure in this virtual universe. It has a new riddle and a new quest. And if you're an audiobook lover and you want someone to read the adventure to you, you will be thrilled to know that Will Wheaton, who's the acclaimed narrator of the first book, is back for this book. The first book, and I'm sure the second book to come, will receive rave reviews of it. People said things like it's part intergalactic scavenger hunt, part romance, Willy Wonka meets the Matrix, and a grown-up's Harry Potter. So I guess my question is, who is not the audience for this book?
It's great. That's funny. I didn't realize at first. Next up, we also have another follow-up to a bestseller. We all have a friend or family member who is a diehard John Grisham fan, and his new book, A Time for Mercy, will not disappoint. Jake Regance, the hero of A Time to Kill, one of Grisham's most popular novels, returns in a courtroom drama bursting with all the courthouse scheming, small town intrigue, and stunning plot twists that have become the hallmark of the master of the legal thriller. This is one of Grisham's most powerful courtroom dramas yet. The New York Times said of A Time for Mercy, Grisham has returned to the place closest to his heart. The trial is riveting. It's striking how suspenseful the story is and how much we're gripped by the smart details.
Next up is from Tana French, who really needs no introduction for your really voracious thriller readers. She never disappoints her readers. I love when I hear people recommend mystery and thriller books, and she's always the first on their list. And I know that whenever we've been able to hear her speak, we are glued to our chairs as well. So she's always really a fun person to read. And again, The Searcher comes out just in time. It's a New York Times bestseller. Maureen Corrigan from the Washington Post says this hushed suspense tale about thwarted dreams of escape may be her best one yet. It's kind of its own masterpiece. I love that. I love how that describes it. Cal Hooper thought a fixer-upper in the idyllic Irish village would be the perfect escape. After 25 years in the Chicago police force and a bruising divorce, he just wants to build a new life in a pretty spot with a good pub where nothing much else happens. Who doesn't? But when a local kid whose brother has gone missing arm twists him into investigating, Cal uncovers layers of darkness between this picturesque retreat and starts to realize that even small towns shelter their own dangerous secrets. So this is a fun one, and the atmosphere is really fun as well. And then something a little different is called Secret Santa. I love the premise of this. I think it's different now that we're all remote, but maybe if we were all still stuck in the office together, it would make it even more terrifying fun. This is for horror fans, especially for fans of the comedic horror movies like Happy Death Day and The Cabin in the Woods, Scream, and for Andrew Schaefer's fans, he's the best-selling author of Hope Never Dies. The Office. This is what we like to call The Office meets The Shining. And this horror comedy about a holiday gift-giving exchange gone wrong, set in a publishing house in the 1980s. And we have had some funny experiences with Secret Santa in our office. One year I accidentally assigned 2 people to me. So I don't know if anybody was this mad at me, but this is about a woman, Lucy Meyer, who joins a prestigious publishing company, Blackwood Patterson, and she's trying to help them kickstart their new horror imprint. Her new coworkers seem a little less than thrilled, which I know that sometimes you have somebody start at your work and you're not happy about it. But she doesn't realize how far this might be about to go. Ever since the illustrious Xavier Blackwood dies and his party boy son takes over, things have been changing around the office. So there's this creepy feeling around the office anyway. So then when Leslie receives this creepy gnome doll as part of the company's annual holiday gift exchange, it verifies what she suspected all along. Her coworkers think she's a joke. No one there takes her seriously, even if she's the one whose books are keeping the company afloat. But what happens after the doll's arrival is no joke. With no explanation, Leslie's coworkers begin to drop like flies. A heart attack here, a food poisoning there. One of her authors and closest friends, the fabulous but underrated Fabian Nightingale, sees the telltale signs of supernatural forces at play, stemming from the gnome sitting quietly on Leslie's shelf. The only question is, does Leslie want to stop its magic from working? Which I think is funny. It's like this guy was clearly sitting in his office one day thinking, how can I get rid of these people? And I feel like that's where this book came from.
It's also why I'm terrified to do elf on the shelf with my children. I will not do
like
that.
The elf on the shelf gone horribly wrong.
Exactly.
So the next set of books we wanted to talk about with you are for the readers in your life or for yourself that love a good book club, love a good book club discussion, love a book where it's going to bring up lots and lots of things to talk about. And that's what these 4 books are on the screen here.
Yes, and so I'll start with my first selection, which is The Good Lord Bird, which was the winner of the National Book Award. And it is the perfect pick for fans of the Showtime series of the same name, which is now airing, which stars Ethan Hawke and Daveed Diggs. But it's also obvious all those book club readers and who have devoured works of Colson Whitehead and Ta-Nehisi Coates and Edward P. Jones. Here in The Good Lord Bird, James McBride, who is the best-selling author of the recent Deacon King Kong and also The Color of Water, tells the story of a young boy who's born a slave and who joins John Brow's anti-slavery crusade, but who must pass as a girl to survive. So here, like his other novels, McBride has a meticulous eye for detail and character. It's a mixture of history and imagination, and it's a rousing adventure mixed with like a moving exploration of identity and survival. So absolutely lots for book clubs to dig into here. And for people who may not have read the book before, but who are fans of the show, like I said. And then it's fitting to move to my next pick, which is Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. James McBride's book that came out earlier this year, Deacon King Kong, was an Oprah Book Club pick, and Cast was also an Oprah Book Club pick this year. And Cast is also a finalist for the National Book Award, or long list for the National Book Award, I should say. And it's beginning to be named one of the top books by so many publications this year, including Publishers Weekly and Time, and I'm sure many more to follow. Cast is for the hundreds of thousands of readers who Wilkerson garnered with her beloved work, The Warmth of Other Suns. And it's also for people who have read On Tyranny and Between the World and Me. And here, Wilkerson examines the unspoken caste system that's shaped America and shows how our lives are still defined and influenced by it today. She uses riveting stories about real people, including Martin Luther King Jr., baseball Satchel Paige, a single father and his toddler, and experiences from her own life to show how this insidious undertow of the caste system is experienced every day. But most of all, and finally, Wilkerson points a way forward for our country so we can move beyond these destructive separations toward hope and common humanity. It's really a book for anyone who wants to better understand politics and race and the divisions in our country. And the New York Times has unbelievably high praise for it, saying it's an instant American classic and almost certainly the keynote nonfiction book of the American century this far, which is pretty high praise indeed.
Indeed. Next up, just named to the Library Reads Hall of Fame is Perestroika in Paris. This is a feel-good novel for readers of all ages. From the Pulitzer Prize-winning and best-selling author Jane Smiley comes a captivating, brilliantly imaginative story of three extraordinary animals: a racehorse, a dog, and a duck, and a young boy whose lives intersect in Paris. A book page card review calls it a remarkable novel that splits the difference between Charlotte's Web and Animal Farm. Perestroika in Paris takes its place alongside the likes of Through the Looking Glass, in that it will reward both precocious young readers and their parents with a sense of wonder and whimsy. So this is a great book if you want to have something to discuss with your kids, a great adults, young reader pairing. A lot of fun, perfect for the holiday season.
I love the cover of that book so much.
Adorable.
Yeah. So next up for me is a fun book for your book clubs because it is from Jacqueline Winspear, who you all know or should know is the best-selling author of the Maisie Dobbs series. And this is This Time Next Year We Will Be Laughing, which, as one of my colleagues says, that he hopes that this is also the case, and it's true. So I hope so too. But this is Jacqueline Winspear's memoir. So if your book clubs or if your friends love the Maisie Dobbs series, I think they will really want to know more about the author herself. There's an adorable picture of her on the cover from when she was a little girl. She said it's her favorite picture of herself as a child, and that's why it's the cover photo. Anne Lamont has a great review of this book, and she says, Jacqueline Winspear has created a memoir of her English childhood that is every bit as engaging as her Maisie Dobbs novels, just as rich in character and detail, history and humanity. Her writing is lovely, elegant, and welcoming. And after 16 novels, Jacqueline Winspear has taken the bold step of turning to memoir, revealing the hardships and joys of her family history, which is both shockingly frank and deftly restrained. Her story tackles the difficult, poignant, and fascinating family accounts of her paternal grandfather's shell shock, her mother's evacuation from London during the Blitz, her soft-spoken, animal-loving father's torturous assignment to an explosives team during World War II, her parents' years living with Roman gypsies, and Winspear's own childhood picking hops and fruit on their farm in rural Kent. You'll just get a glimpse of her childhood. Even for people that love to watch The Crown, it just gives you a really in-depth, which Elizabeth and I are, which is where my tea mug is coming from today. It's just a really intimate portrait of a life, and with so many different facets of it that have made her who she is as a writer. And if you've ever read her books, you know there's so much to them. You can tell that she's had a pretty interesting backstory. So that's a great book for your book clubs as well.
So I know we talked about how Jen is in Florida right now, so she may not agree, but here in Connecticut, it is 30 degrees, and all I want to do is make hot chocolate and bake. And I'm sure many of you people have know people in your life like this. So this is the slide for them. This is the recommendations for them. Gifts for the home chefs and the home bakers.
Yes, and sorry everyone, I'm putting on my headphones. I'm hearing some feedback when I talk, so hopefully this will be a little better. So the first book I'm going to talk about is A Good Bake. Melissa Weller is the baking superstar of our time. As the head baker at some of the best restaurants in the country, her takes on chocolate babka and sticky buns brought these classics back to life and kicked off a nationwide movement. In A Good Bake, Weller shares her meticulously honed, carefully detailed recipes for producing impossibly delicious and impossibly beautiful baked goods. She was a chemical engineer before she became a baker, so Weller uses her scientific background to explain the whys and hows of baking so home cooks can achieve perfect results every time. I'm going to call out some recipes to make your mouth water. It includes pumpkin layer cake with salted caramel buttercream and brown sugar frosting, chocolate babka, milk chocolate and raspberry blondies, as well as salted caramel sticky buns. Good luck not having a sweet treat this afternoon.
I was just baking chocolate chip cookies last night with my kids. I was telling Kelly that, and I said, baking is science and it's math, to try and like incorporate some learning into this. So it's good to hear that I've got sources backing me up. So on from baking to comfort food and to borrow from Hoda, this just speaks to me, is Ina Garten's Modern Comfort Food. And it's a collection of 85 all new recipes from America's favorite home cook. A lot of the dishes you'll be excited like I was to know are inspired by childhood favorites, but the volume is turned way up on them. So get ready. I hope you ate lunch already. Cheddar and chutney grilled cheese sandwiches with Ina's creamy tomato bisque, smashed hamburgers with caramelized onions, with crispy hash browns that you can make in a waffle iron, cheesy chicken enchiladas, roasted sausage, peppers and onions, Boston cream pie, banana rum truffle, and black and white cookies. This is everything from cocktails to dessert, from weekend breakfast to quick weeknight dinner, and you will make these recipes over and over again.
That's what I would eat while waiting. What was it, Jen? The diet food is what you eat when you're waiting for Ina to cook for you.
The steak, yes, for the steak.
Just look, it's weird, like just looking at her makes me hungry every time. And Elizabeth and I were saying that we both had chocolate chip cookies for breakfast, so I don't think that's science, but that's all right. Next up is Kitchen Explorers, 60 plus recipes, experiments, and games for young chefs. We know that in the last couple of months, since a lot of people have been home, your young chefs have been cooking more than ever, working with either your own children or students in the kitchen. The kids have just been wanting to cook more and more, which is wonderful. I am all about sharing the wealth in our family, and I'm more than happy when the kids decide they want to cook. So this is from the creators of the #1 New York Times bestseller, The Complete Cookbook for Young Chefs. It comes, it's the best ever interactive workbook for kids, focusing on ages like 8 to 12 who want recipes, science experiments, hands-on activities, and games all about food. It uses the kitchen as your classroom without having to go to school. There we go. What makes fizzy drinks fizzy? Can you create beautiful art using salt? Or can you prove the power of smell with jelly beans? It also has fun things like kid-tested and kid-approved recipes for smoothies, guacamole, energy bites, mug cakes, and more. And we think this book is not only going to be fun for the adult that is cooking with the child, but the children as well, and the young chefs as well. And I will say that when I buy myself personally a cookbook, I usually buy the one for the young chefs, because then I think I can actually do it myself. So
yeah, I agree with that. I do. I do that too. I figure if it's for kids, I can handle it. And finally, from the host of the beloved Netflix series Time to Eat and winner of the Great British Baking Show, comes over 100 time smart recipes to tackle family mealtime. That's what we need. Nadia Hussein knows that feeding a family and juggling a full workload can be challenging. Time to Eat solves mealtime on weeknights and busy days with quick and easy recipes that the whole family will love. Nadia shares her tips and tricks for making meal prep as simple as possible, including ideas for repurposing leftovers and components of dishes into new recipes, creating second meals to keep in the freezer, and using shortcuts like frozen foods to cut your prep time significantly. I don't know what I'd do without the chicken nuggets in my freezer, truly. Just a couple to call out a couple of recipes so we can continue to make you all hungry. We have the recipe here for her peanut butter and jelly tray bake. I have to check that out. That sounds,
Ooh, that sounds
I don't know
really
if my kids will like it, but I would like it. Instant noodles, egg rolls, and zesty marmalade haddock.
She
I always
is,
think
but
of
I feel like
Paddington when I say my
she might actually be accessible too. I like the way she cooks, and she makes me hungry, equally as hungry, I'd say too. So, okay, so
Oh, here we go.
get your
Woohoo.
phones out. This is what we were talking about. So since we've made you all really hungry, we thought the first question we would ask you. So if you go to menti.com, you'll see the code there. You put in that little code on the top, and then it's going to ask you a question, and you can put in your first, second, third, fourth choice. But we want to know, what is your favorite sweet holiday treat? I'm gonna take a second to do it too.
Doing it too.
So let's see what everybody says.
Gosh, you have to select all of them.
I know. All right, let's see. How do we do? We'll give you a couple more minutes.
There goes my Bailey's. It's going down.
More for us, because that's
More
what.
for
Oh,
us.
there we go. It's like the
I have
horse
to say
racing.
Bailey's and a sugar cookie. Now that sounds pretty good to me right about now.
A sugar cookie dipped in Bailey's.
Ooh, I like it.
We've had a rough year. We're allowed. Well, all right. So sugar cookies is a good winner. So that is. We're glad that we're.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
Pumpkin pie just stole second at the end. It's like a horse race.
It is. Oh, there goes Bailey's.
Well, we're glad that you're all. We could all share our sweet treats together. We think by the end of 2020, maybe more people will be picking Bailey's as their top.
It'll definitely be the number one.
So good. We're glad we got to share some fun cookbooks with you.
Oh, fun. Also, we didn't want to leave out the young readers, so we picked kind of some of our top picks that would be great for the kids in your lives.
So you know, it's funny. I actually have physical copies of both of these in my hands, and I'm going to talk about both of these first. So the first one is Elf, which, oh, come on, Elf needs no introduction. These books are so fun. I will tell you, I have children that are now 17, 18, and almost 20. Oh my God. And Elf is like their number. They watch it all year. So to be able to, and I do give them a book every year for Christmas. So this year, this is the book I'm going to be giving to them. So I give them a Christmas book every Christmas. I try to give them other books. They don't read them, but they do read their Christmas books. But Elf is one of the classic illustrated storybooks that Cookbook puts out. They've done so many fun ones in the past, like the X-Files. They've done Home Alone, E.T., Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Back to the Future. They're just so fun. They take the classics that we all loved as kids and they turn them into these gorgeous gift books. And this one, you know, of course, is about Buddy the Elf. And, you know, who brings the holiday spirit more than Buddy the Elf? So I'm really excited about this one. I think this is going to be for people that love the movie, for kids who haven't seen it yet, and for people are getting very close to adult age that still, or even older, that still think this is a really fun movie. So we love the illustrated classics. I know.
My dad still quotes the movie all the time.
It's just so funny. So we, I remember when the boys first watched it, and then I took them to the city, and they were like, "That's where Buddy the Elf works." It was just such a fun reference point. I'm like, okay. So Buddy the Elf book is out already, and we think that your young readers will really, really enjoy it. And then next up, we always love talking about Betty and Veronica in our department. Jen and I have had arguments over Betty and Veronica for the last 10 years. She's Veronica. That's enough said.
Hey.
But this is actually a fun one because it's an original graphic novel. So it's called The Bond of Friendship. It's you don't have to read any of the other books in the series, and it's the first ever original graphic novel about Betty and Veronica and their friendship. And you know, when there's a lot of things about Riverdale that are true, you know, Archie Andrews can be clumsy and love-struck, and Jughead is never full, and Pop will always serve the best burgers and shakes in the world, and Betty and Veronica will be best friends no matter what. And that's what this is about. Even though they've got their little rifts and their little competitions, ultimately they really just are really, really good friends. And School Library Journal says it will come as no surprise what the girls will be when they grow up, as it's the same thing they've been for decades now. friends. So there you go.
Oh,
There you
just
go.
like
Yeah,
us,
we're
Kelly.
friends.
We're friends.
So from Betty and Veronica to a book for all of your Dungeons and Dragons players and fans, we have Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. The wizard Tasha has gathered bits and bobs of precious lore during her long, illustrious career as an adventurer, and in defiance of her enemies, she's collected them all here and codified them for the enrichment of all. So fans will find rule options for all the character classes, spells for players and characters and monsters, puzzles, magical tattoos, and other tasty goodies. So let the role playing begin.
And then for the aspiring ballerina on your list, the first in a series of picture books inspired by prima ballerina and author Misty Copeland, her own early experiences in ballet. Misty's captivated by the tale of Coppelia and its heroine Swanilda, so she decides to audition for the role. But she's never danced ballet before. In fact, this is the very first day of her very first dance class. Though Misty's excited, she's nervous, but as she learns from her fellow bunheads, she makes wonderful friends who encourage her to do her very best. Misty's nerves quickly fall away, and with a little teamwork, the bunheads put on a show to remember. The book is full of stunning artwork, and it's an inspiring tale for anyone looking for the courage to try something new. And a little fun plug for the audio of Bunheads. It's read by the author, Misty Copeland, and she got a Booklist starred review for her mesmerizing performance. So this is a great book to read or listen to with your young reader.
Another beautiful cover.
Mm-hmm.
So we gave you a bunch of suggestions, and if that wasn't enough, and you still need more, we have a couple of more suggestions for you. We just wanted to let you know that we have a program at Penguin Random House where we will donate to We Need Diverse Books for every book you buy. Penguin Random House will donate one copy of a book to this program called We Need Diverse Books, which is a nonprofit mission whose goal is to put more diverse books into the hands of all children. And if you see the tiny URL on the screen, you'll learn more about that. And if you don't feel like writing it down, don't worry. In the wrap up, you'll get all of this information as well. And always, it's fun to promote out of print. They're perfect for your literary stocking stuffers. You know, they have the best socks and scarves and tote bags and t-shirts for all of your literary fans out there. Okay, so we hope we inspired you with some gift-giving love, and we would love to know what kind of book would you love to be gifted this holiday season. So if you want to, again, take out your phones, we can see what you guys are looking for the most this year.
It's fun to watch them switch around.
I know. What am I in the mood for this year?
Wow, literary fiction's at the bottom of the list. Oh, here we go.
All right. Give me a couple more minutes. Oh, romance is coming back. I've definitely read more romance books this year than in the last couple.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it's all my brain can handle.
Yeah.
I want a sure thing happy ending. That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say, these slides are making me want to go to the horse track.
Yeah. Really?
It feels like we're about to win money here, but
If only.
still, all right, I'll give it another minute. Historical fiction. This looks about right.
Yeah,
this looks about what we figured it would look like.
Nice.
All right, literary fiction made a good comeback. That's good.
It did.
And speaking of giving and receiving books this holiday, you have a chance to enter our Just holiday sweepstakes, which includes socks from out of print and a collection of amazing books from Penguin Random House, including some that we presented today. So if you're not sure if you're going to get books from the people in your life, or if you want to win some and get them for yourself or give them away, please check out our sweepstakes. You can visit tinyurl.com BRR holiday sweeps to learn more about the books included and to enter to win. And we hope you find something for yourself or people on your list.
And we're so thrilled to offer to you, our loyal Borrow.Read.Repeat listeners, a special holiday discount code. If you use this code at checkout on penguinrandomhouse.com between now and Christmas, you will get 20% off all the giftable books and CDs that we discussed in this presentation today. Again, as Kelly said, we'll be sending out the presentation. But please, this is a shareable code. So if there was something you particularly want, feel free to share the code with your gift buyer. They can use it. The more the merrier, BRR gift 20. And also for any purchases over $20, you'll also get free shipping. So not a bad deal.
And if you slipped one in there for yourself, nobody would tell us.
We won't tell.
So our last question today, we just have to say, over the last couple of months of being home, one of the benefits has been that we feel like we have all gotten to spend a little bit more time together than we normally would have with our newsletter end users, with our people that follow us online. So we really just have really gotten to know a lot of you very well, which has been really fun. And so we just wanted to ask you, now that we've almost made it through this entire year together, what activity have you had extra time for this year? So that maybe we can make sure we get you some even more books in that area, or just it's just fun to talk about. We know there's been a little, sometimes people have absolutely no time, but with the time you've had, what have you been enjoying?
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only person who put what extra time. Thought I was going to be the only one.
We put that in there for you.
True.
I have gotten everyone else that's been baking and cooking a lot, I have gotten so good at deciding what restaurant to order takeout from.
I feel like I have tried a little baking, nothing fancy, but
you've made some good bread. I've seen pictures of your good bread.
I figured out how to make easy bread, and
Well, we are thrilled that reading was the number one option on that slide, because that's why we're here, is to bring you more books, talk about them. We've got great titles coming out all the time, but it is nice sometimes to stop and talk about the ones that we really, really love, and the ones that we think that you should give to your friends and your family and your loved ones at the holiday season. So thank you so much for joining us today. This was really fun. I have to say, talking about books is one of the things that perks us up. I know we do it a lot of the time at work, but to be able to talk to you guys about it is something that really does cheer us up. So we hope that you will join us again. The next Borrow.Read.Repeat Live will probably not be until 2021, but
that'll be here before we know it.
Just like that, right? Keep a lookout in your emails and online and on our blog, and we will announce the next episode for you. And again, we thank you so much for joining us today. And a reminder, we will, of course, be sending you a wrap-up. We hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving too, and get your appetites ready for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, happy reading.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.